Would you believe someone if they said an 80-year-old wealthy woman married a 25-year-old poor man, and just 7 days after their marriage, something happened that changed everyone's perspective? Many claimed it was greed. Others said it was just a drama. But when the truth of that night surfaced, the world went silent. Was this a deal or an emotional connection? Was it love, sympathy, or something else? Anil Varma, a 25-year-old young man, bore the burden of an entire household. After his father's death, he became the sole support of his mother Anita, who was seriously ill, and his younger sister Kajal, who was still in school. Anil juggled studies, odd jobs, and household responsibilities. Life's struggles had aged him before time. Debts, unpaid bills, and his mother's worsening condition were taking a toll on him. One day, at a cheap tea stall, while counting coins to see if he could afford a cup of tea, Anil noticed a woman watching him from a distance. She was unlike anyone he had ever seen. Elegant, graceful, draped in a luxurious sari with an aura of power. Her name was Hamida Malik, a legendary figure in the business world. She approached Anil with a knowing smile. "Are you Anil Varma?" she asked. Anil, tired and confused, nodded. "I know everything about your mother, your sister, and your financial struggles," she said, stunning him. "If you agree, I can change your life. But there's a condition: marry me." Anil stood speechless. This wasn't a movie scene, but Hamida was dead serious. She laid it out clearly. She would cover all his responsibilities, his mother's treatment, his sister's education, and the debts. In return, she only asked for a legal marriage. No pressure, no demands, just a contract. She promised he could live his life as he pleased and would not interfere, but some conditions must be followed. Confused, Anil walked away. But the mounting pressure of creditors, his mother's failing health, and the dreams of his sister began to wear him down. A few days later he returned and said, "I am ready." The marriage happened simply, with legal documents signed and a few witnesses present. For the first time, Anil stepped into a mansion more magnificent than any dream. Everything from the marble floors to the obedient servants screamed of wealth and control. But something else lingered, a mysterious silence. Though legally married, there was no emotional intimacy between Anil and Hamida. She never forced anything on him, always respectful of his space. Still, she had feelings for him, hoping he would one day accept her love. Every night they dined together in silence. The mansion had its own rhythm, where even the maids spoke in hushed tones and obeyed without question. One detail kept nagging Anil: a huge door on the second floor, always locked and closely guarded. What was behind that door? He asked, but no one answered. One night, he heard whispers from inside. Hamida was talking to someone. The tone was intense, emotional. Curiosity now mixed with suspicion. He decided he must know the truth. He approached Kiran, a 22-year-old maid close to Hamida, and requested to see his wife. When Kiran delivered the message, Hamida was overjoyed. She kissed Kiran's hands and told her to bring him. That night, Anil entered Hamida's private room for the first time. Rose-scented air, soft light, and Hamida's radiant face awaited him. "Hamida ji, you look like a 20-year-old, he said in awe. Hamida smiled. "Love knows no age, Anil ji. When a woman truly loves, her soul stays young. I didn't just make you heir to my wealth. I gave you my heart." Moved, Anil took her hand. "Please forgive me. I was distant, but today I see your truth. You are beautiful, Hamida ji." She rested her head on his shoulder. When a man calls a woman his own, she belongs not by age but by love in that moment. Their hearts connected that night. For the first time they saw each other beyond roles, beyond deals. It was as if time stood still. Anil whispered, "This heartbeat is yours now." Hamida smiled through tears. "Then let me show you the truth." The door that had haunted Anil's thoughts swung open. Inside was a room filled with paintings, journals, and memories of a younger Hamida. An artist, a dreamer, a woman who once loved and lost. The locked door was not hiding a secret of crime or conspiracy, but of vulnerability, pain, and truth. She showed Anil the final journal entry she had written before meeting him. "One day, I will meet someone who will not see my age but will feel my soul. I will give him my heart, and in return, he will give me my truth." That was the night Anil understood. This marriage wasn't a deal. It was a silent hope. And now it was love, pure, unexpected, and real. The night Anil and Hamida finally opened their hearts to each other became a turning point. Something had shifted, not just between them but inside Anil as well. For the first time in months, he felt at peace, like the burden he had been carrying for years was beginning to lift. Hamida, in that moment, was not an 80-year-old woman. She was simply someone who had waited a lifetime to be seen, to be loved, and now she was. But even after that night of emotional closeness, something continued to trouble Anil. That locked room. Every day, while the mansion brimmed with quiet luxury and the sounds of business meetings and calls from Hamida's office echoed down the marble halls, Anil's eyes always returned to the second floor. To that heavy wooden door with the iron lock. That door wasn't just hiding a secret. It was pulling him in, whispering questions he couldn't ignore. A week later, Anil noticed a subtle change in Hamida. She had grown even more affectionate. Her gestures, her smiles, all more open, more vulnerable. Yet, when Anil asked casually about the locked room, her expression froze. She quickly changed the topic and avoided eye contact. That very night, unable to resist any longer, Anil approached Kiran, the loyal maid who had always shown warmth toward him. "Kiran, wo upar wala kamra. Kia tum janti ho uzmian kia hai." Kiran's face turned pale. She looked around nervously and said in a hushed voice, "Sir main surfit na ke sakti hoon. Us kamra ka res bohat gara hai. Hamida mamani humian mana kia hias parbat karn siparek din wo raz kud kul jaega." That answer only made Anil more restless. Midnight. The mansion's silence. That night, with Hamida fast asleep, Anil quietly walked to the second floor. The corridor was cold and eerily quiet. He stood before the locked door once again. But to his shock, the lock was open. His heart pounded. He slowly pushed the door. Kriawake. The room was dimly lit with candles placed on an antique wooden table. The walls were filled with paintings, all of the same man, in various stages of life. As a child, a teenager, a groom, and then a photograph framed in black ribbon. A garland hung from it. It was Hamida's late husband. Anil stepped in, confused. Then he saw a diary lying open. Out of instinct, he picked it up and started reading. "Muyi pata hai denaya muyi pagal kahegi. Parme news bul nahi sakti. Uski maut kubad zindagi ruk gai. Shayad mary ruby uski soth chali gai hodi. Agar ek din main Anil keo nahi deka hota." The handwriting was delicate, shaky, filled with years of longing and sorrow. "Jab main Anil keo pali bar deka. Muyi laga mary zindagi ka safar jishi waja esi bacha rahada. Uski ankon main usayan son khan or the jisa main kab kako chuki ti. Shayad usai ruani Anil karup lalia hai. Shayad yak pogalpan hai. Lekin muyi ya pogalpan jina shikaraha hai." Anil stepped back stunned. Was it obsession? Or rebirth of lost love? That's when he noticed another item in the room. A box covered with a velvet cloth. Curious, he lifted the cloth and found a collection of letters. Letters written to her late husband after his death. Each letter described Anil, how he reminded her of him, how his presence made her feel alive again. Suddenly, the door creaked behind him. Hamida stood there, silent, vulnerable, exposed. Tears were rolling down her cheeks. "Absab John Gay Anil," she said in a soft voice. Anil couldn't speak. He walked slowly toward her, his heart full of mixed emotions, empathy, sadness, confusion, and something unexplainable. Perhaps compassionate love. "Muyi maf kardina. Main tumzi kuch chupana nahi chadi ti. Isdarthe. Kutam muyi samchho gyanahi." Anil gently held her hand and said, "Hamida ji, pyar pagal nahi hota. Pyar biz hota hai. Shayad main bi samaj nahi paya the." Lekanage main samajda hun. Hamida looked into his eyes filled with understanding. Tokia tama bimir sath rahogi? She asked with trembling lips. Anil paused, and then nodded. Main apka hun Hamida ji. Ek shart hai. Kia? She asked, curious. Ab hum ek dusser karaz nahi chipayanj. Hum ek nays indagi shura karenj. Jahan surf sach hoga mohabbat hogi. Or ek naya rishta. Hamida smiled through her tears. For the first time in decades, she felt young not just in body, but in soul. 1 month later, the mansion was no longer silent. Laughter echoed in the halls. Hamida, now dressed in light colors, left her business responsibilities to trusted partners and started spending more time in the garden, reading books and sharing tea with Anil. Anil enrolled Kajal in a good school. Anita, his mother, had begun to recover. Hamida arranged for the best treatment, not out of duty, but out of love. The town, once whispering rumors of greed and drama, now had nothing more to say. Because what they saw now was not a contract, not a deal, but a real, unexpected, beautiful bond. A bond beyond age. A bond of healing. A bond of love.